Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to get rid of that larger 1999 exhaust system on your Seadoo XP Limited with the lower one there, which is the 1998 version. So those are OEM parts we're going to exchange it with. Got this pipe here, which unfortunately is no longer available, but you can pick these up on eBay. I'll throw the part number up for that. These are still available from Seadoo. They're about 30 bucks. So we're going to get rid of this whole system, which if you're running higher RPMs, it can be prone to cracking over time just due to heat, and then this should also make it a little bit louder for us. So we'll open up the back hatch here. And what we're gonna do is this pipe here is gonna come out. So we got a hose clamp over here. I'll get a light in there so you can see it. So we just got to undo that guy there with a screwdriver, and we'll be able to take out that pipe. And we're going to have another one there, and another one right where my light is there. You can kind of barely see it in the top of the picture. And then that'll allow us to take out that big resonator pipe thing there. And then outside here, we just got a nut on the exhaust that we got to remove. So to do that, first thing I'm going to do is just get a Phillips screwdriver, get that battery out of the way. Okay, so I disconnected the battery. I'm going to remove the straps. I'm just going to take them out completely just because it's going to be much easier to access getting out that exhaust resonator. One thing when you're taking your battery out, you might have this tube connected to the overflow on it. Just make sure you disconnect that. Okay, battery and the straps are out. It's a good time too when you got that out, just see if you find any bolts or anything down there and pull them out. That's what we're left with down there with the battery out. So I'm just going to go ahead and undo all those connections that I need to do on these hoses that we looked at already, and then start taking stuff out. It's helpful to have a few different size screwdrivers as well, just to get at things depending on how those cable ties are oriented. Okay, so I took that VTS cover off. I don't really think it helped much, but it may have given me a little extra clearance. To get that one out, I had to take that hose clamp off completely, not just loosen it up. So now I've got that pipe out. I'm gonna come back here, deal with this nut next. A little wrench like this, one of these strap wrenches, works great to loosen that thing off. Okay, so you're gonna have this nut, which we're gonna reuse. And then there's this hard plastic washer as well. This one hopefully looks in good shape. We'll reuse that. So now that guy's loose. Then we can come in here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that last one, that last hose clamp there. Undo this strap right here, and then that should give us access to pull this guy out. The guy is pretty tough to get out, but if you kind of just squish the pipe against the VTS unit there, it'll come right out. So all we're left with is that guy back in there. So I took that little piece of styrofoam out. It's just being held in by one of these body clips, so just a little fork screwdriver type thing will pop that out. You don't have to take it out, but I just did for the sake of it. Why not? So one thing we got to do with this is it does come with this hole in here. I think on some other models, it was used on like an RXX and a couple other models, I believe. That may actually be a functional piece. Just got this plug here. This is just a brass plug. This one is an 1/8 inch pipe plug, so just standard fitting, threads right in there. So I'm just going to seal that up with some high temp gasket maker. Then I'm going to go ahead and reuse my hose clamps from the exhaust we took off. Now one thing I've unfortunately just noticed is the key on these, and this needs to be oriented like this, is up here, and on my existing one is here. So on my haul, I've got a couple cuts to match up like this, not like this. So I think what I'm going to do, just to make it easier, is just grind these things off. I'm just going to leave a little bit on the back end of it here because there's a gasket, just a tiny little bit, but that'll allow it to go in. Other option would be to just remove the whole pump and then get in there. You can kind of see on that far side, there's that keyway there. So you could grind out some new ones into the hull as well. But I think for me, it's going to be easier just to do it this way. Okay, so the Dremel made quick work of those. Just got them down enough that this gasket will still have something to grip onto. Okay, so I got a bead of sealant around that now. I'm going to go ahead and install it in the boat. Okay, so I just tightened that down until I got the hose in. So I got this hose in here and fit. And I obviously haven't put my clamps on yet. But then once I did figure out the positioning of this hose, then I went and really tightened down the nut on the outside of the hull. It did help to remove that water regulator there. So I pulled that guy out. That just gave me a little bit more access to get this on, because this was a pain to get on. What I'm going to do now, actually, before I go ahead and seal all this up, is just cut that rubber off the water box and just open that up. So I got those hose clamps all tightened up. I got a water box, all that rubber removed. So I got another video on that. Check that out. I got some explanation on how to do that because it is a pain. So I've tightened everything up here. So nothing left to do now, but listen to the sound clips of the before and after of this mod.